I'm gonna ask Zan, I'm gonna bring Big Z in here in a second here because I'm gonna ask him. Okay, I'm gonna ask Zander, what do you think? And will the 2025 Eagles have a better roster than either of the 22 or 24 Philadelphia Eagle rosters? Without further ado, I heard it this morning. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to be elite. I heard it from John McMullen's mouth. And I know I heard it on June 12th. I could have swore I heard it. He's got one job to do. Don't F it up. I like that. Without further ado, the man, the myth who kept hanging in there. Let's go. What is it, Crack Streams? Oh, no. It's StreamYard. Without further ado, I thought we were going to go on Crack Streams. Without further ado, our boy Big Z, Zander Krause. Way to hang in there, brother.
What's up, Big Sills?
Dude, what a day.
Yeah, what the heck, man? What the heck? I mean, the servers go down right when we're about to start the show. But listen, we're here. We made it. I just want to give a shout out to all the people, though, man, for showing love with the super chats today. Like you said, man, we're not WIP. We're not one of these big dogs. Nope. So those super chats go a long way. We lose a little bit of content. You know, we lose some life. We lose some blood that day. So we do appreciate all of you guys, man. Your guys' contributions are dope, and we appreciate it very much.
Hey, when we get a cut in the hand, we bleed to death.
Yeah,
when those guys get a cut, those guys just put a Band-Aid on it.
We can't afford too many cuts, so you're right.
That's right. What I'm saying. All right, Zander, let me start it out with you, man. Where do you see this roster land? Wait. You know what? I'm going to ask you a better question. In the off seasons of 2022, and try to remember 24, this roster here, what and where do you think this roster lands next to those two Super Bowl rosters? Do you think it's going to be better than 22? Do you think it has a chance to be anywhere near 24? What do you think right now on June 12th with this roster right now as you get closer to the training camps in July? What do you think where you are right now with this roster?
I think better than 22 and a little worse than 24 because I think 24 was just so good. It's going to be very hard to top that team. I mean, statistically and all the metrics. But I think they're going to be better than 22, Sills, because I think their foundation is better. Like 22, your defense had more talent, but the foundation is who? The coordinators and in my opinion, the foundation of Jalen Carter right now is as strong of a foundation as we've had. I mean, Fletcher was great at that point, but he was a year before retiring. And then you had obviously Jonathan Gannon, where I don't think you had quite the upside with that defense that you do here, and that's why when the going got tough for that team or in the Super Bowl, that defense cracked. I mean, it had great stats, but it was not nearly as firm as our defense was last year. So you lost some guys from last year, but I think the foundation is better defensively this year. You even heard Zach Baun, who was on the Exciting Mike's podcast with Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean, and he said the defense feels like they're light years ahead of where they were at this time last year. So I think that's kind of I think they're in a good spot, and maybe talent-wise on paper it doesn't look like it yet, but I think they have a higher upside than 22.
They had 4 guys with 10 sacks or more.
Yeah, but that wasn't that. What defense?
And they also were number 2 in pass defense.
So it was like the tale of two defenses, though. So it was like, which one would you rather have, 22 or 24? 22 had a boatload of stats.
I get those two. I'm talking about this group.
In the biggest moment.
I'm talking about this group. Where do you so you think it lands better than 22? That was a very talented roster that you had.
Maybe not 22. Statistically. 24 didn't beat 22.
Well, not only statistically, you won 14 games with that defense too.
Well, that's true. I mean, you remember Jalen and the offense have a big say in that as well. That was when Jalen Hurts was like second or third in the MVP voting.
Second, and get this, that defense finished number 2. I mean, that defense week to week was playing. The 24 defense, no question about it. The 22 defense, Zander, they were number 2 overall, dude. That they were really good. Plus, they had a high volume of sacks. The two corners made the Pro Bowl. You had 130. You had 300 tackles inside linebackers. I mean, your 2 tackles, Fletcher had 7 sacks, and the other guy had 11.5. Are you going to get 7.5 sacks from Jordan Davis this year?
Yeah, but that's because 22 is a bit like more of a stat-based defense. Like even last year, so if you look
Again,
at
they won though too.
like if I just like, but though if we just did like a spreadsheet, right, and I just showed you the numbers, and you didn't know anything about where the team ranked, and I showed you the stat sheet of 22 and the stat sheet of 24, you would have been like, this was a middle of the pack defense about 24. Your leading guy had 8.5 sacks. And this was one of the best defenses of all time. Every 5 dudes had 10 plus sacks. So it's really hard to gauge that because I don't think 24 or 25 is going to have stats like that. Not at all. But I think they have a big upside.
Okay. Now that may be, like I said, that may be. I'm going to ask you one last question. You know, I kind of hit on this. Why are you so sold that Vic Fangio, I mean, for whatever reason, I didn't realize this, Quinyon Mitchell and Keely Ringo are the same age. These guys are the same age. So, you know, he didn't need
Quinion's
to see,
older.
He didn't even need to see any playing time at a cue to stardom. Why, in your opinion, do you think Ringo's all of a sudden just going to step in and he's going to all of a sudden just take up for Slay? And same thing with Isaiah Rodgers. I think we're frozen here with Zander here. Hopefully we can get him back here. I think that's going to be a pretty tough putt. I mean, why do you think, Zander? I think you're back here with us. You here?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Why are you more comfortable this year saying that Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson are going to give you, or do you not think this, that you're going to get the same production out of Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo that you did out of Isaiah Rodgers and Slay last year?
Well, I feel like Keely Ringo, again, is a high upside player. I mean, he's a year younger than Quinyon. So
no, he turns 23 June 27th.
Yeah, and Quinyon turns 24 in July.
Okay.
Yeah, so Quinyon's got
But
a
he
year
doesn't need to see any play. How many years has Keely been on the team? 3?
3. This will be his 3rd year. But remember, he was a 4th-round draft pick versus a 1st-round draft pick. Obviously, the pedigree was a little bit higher. I think if Keely stayed, he might have been, a 2nd or a 1st-round draft pick. But I don't know. I don't want to gauge his career off of what he was in those first couple of years. I mean, I think every player takes a different amount of time, to get acclimated. And for whatever reason, Quinyon was more mature when he came into the league.
Some do take more time.
I mean, Quinyon was really mature. Do you agree coming in as
yes,
and Cooper, both of them? And by the way, and JAKIB Hunt too, who's shown great maturity.
Shocked me.
I mean, all of them. So
all three of those guys, maturity with JAKIB Hunt, Cooper, and with Q. I've not seen a rookie class. I'll tell you what, that Fisk kid and that Verse and Kitchens, they kind of had that same kind of crap with the Rams. They shocked me on how they fit in as well. So, I mean, I was really stunned, especially Iowa and Toledo, who those guys traditionally don't win a ton of football games.
No.
And so, I was shocked with their maturity as they played. Yes, I was shocked.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think a big part of it. So I just don't think Keely was ready yet, but I do think, I mean, you look at the dude. So like even Gary Cobb, we had Gary Cobb on Birds 365 this morning, and he's like, the one dude of all the prospects, of all the projected players right now that looks the part.
StreamYards is trying to take us down, but we're not going down here. So I think we're hanging in there with it here. So Gary Cobb must have been talking very highly of Keely Ringo. No, we're good, Duke. So he was talking highly of Keely Ringo?
Yeah, why do I keep freezing out? I don't know what's going on, man. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, he was talking highly of Keely. He said he's the one dude who looks like he's going to play the part and play it well.
Cooper DeJean, at the end of the day, where do you see him being a superstar in this league? Slot, safety, or corner?
Could he break barriers and potentially be a multifaceted defensive back, or is that complete pie in the sky and it doesn't?
No, I want to tell you what you made me think about the other night, especially when Vic said it. Do you think because of all the transition that we're seeing now in the NFL with free agency movement, that it's going to be more apt to try to find guys because free agency is going to lead to guys leaving, going other places, chasing big bags of money, that you're going to want to have a guy where you could be able to play. He may not be, and again, follow me when I say this. Q might be a guy like a Milton Williams. And I'll say this to you. Milton Williams is never going to be a superstar player, and I think Q is going to have a higher upside, and he is going to be a star. But for him to be able to play, or like Zack, to be able to go, they're talking about playing him at the edge and rushing him. I think you're going to start to see that league-wide. I think Howie is going to start something league-wide where, Zander, I'm going to not be looking for the Michael Parsons of the world. I'm going to be looking for the guys, hey, is that a Swiss Army knife that I could play? Maybe I got to play him at edge in emergency. Maybe I got to play him off linebacker. Maybe I got to play him in the nickel. Maybe I got to play. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wonder if that's going to be more, because you're talking more hybrid guys.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of those guys on this defense too. I mean, you got Jalix, you got Jahad Campbell. I think even Zach Baun is a little bit of that. Yeah. Cooper DeJean in the secondary. You could argue they're thinking about maybe even thinking about Drew Makuba in that way if they think about him in the slot. Mac McWilliams lined up inside and outside. So I think they've got a lot of those guys, but how much do they become, not only prominent, but can you build a defense around them? That's my question. Now they're clearly trying to do that with what they're doing here in Philly, but how much different does it have to look if it's not the conventional way to build a defense? Get a good linebacker, get a good guy on the defensive line, get a good secondary, get a good corner, get a good safety. If you get different football players, like you said, how do you build your defense around that? I think you can build it with a big upside, especially Vic Fangio, who's very versatile in the way he uses players.
Hey, guys, I'm panhandling today. Super Chats go to the top. I appreciate you guys. Please hit that like button, man. StreamYards hosts us up, freezing my boy up too, which isn't good.
Oh, all right, man. They were all over the place.
I got your topic today. I got this topic from you today.
I love it.
Okay, and make sure you guys check out Birds 365. So I expanded it a little more. So when you look at Kevin Patullo, is he going to be closer to Brian Johnson? Or is he going to be closer to Kellen Moore? When it comes to play calling.
I'd say Kellen Moore because it's an evolutionary thing. Like the offense is moving forward. And I don't see how it would go back to what, even though Brian Johnson wasn't awful. I mean, the offense was freaking top 10 that year. I know everybody doesn't – they were 8th, right? 8th overall. I'd say more like Kellen Moore. I mean, you still have Saquon Barkley. You still got the offensive line. I think you had all the success you had last year. So I think Kellen Moore is the more obvious one, but maybe he brings in a spurt of Kevin Patullo. I don't know, Sills. Like, I will say this. At some point, every man wants to, put their mark on something. You know what I mean? Every man wants to, make it theirs. What if does he want to do that? Is he good continuing the trend? Or is it kind of up to Jalen Hurts? I think that one might really be the answer.
Well, here, I'm last year we had higher expectations with Kellen Moore coming in. Everyone did. And rightfully so. Kellen Moore's he's a pass guy. He's not a run guy. So give me some numbers for Hurts and what you think this year and what it's going to, because I want to get a look what it's going to look like. I mean, it's funny. The less he passes. So if he goes for 2,900 yards again,
no,
what's it going to look like?
Realistic me thinks 3,500, 3,600. Okay. Optimistic me thinks $4,000. But when I say optimistic, I also don't need $4,000. Like I don't. If they don't get that and their offense is humming and running and doing the other things well, I really don't care. That metric doesn't mean that much to me. But when you're talking about the passing game, the optimistic view of the passing game for me would be 4,000, 3,600 realism, and I think a little bit underwhelming would be 3,200, right in that ballpark. So I think somewhere in that range. Now, I know that's a big range, 3,200 to $4,000. But I think he falls right around 3,500, 3,600.
Don't you think that if they're behind in games, that's not where you want to be?
Well, they weren't behind very much last year.
I don't remember them behind at all, really.
Right, which is part of the reason why he did throw for 2,903. I mean, I'm sure you understand that very well. Yeah. So if you take that away, or if that lessens even 20%, I think you're going to look at a lot more passing yards. Plus, I think there's a human desire. Like, I understand that we had a great running game and it was really awesome watching Saquon Barkley and everything that happened last year. But the reality is, there's a human element, a human desire that Hurts, AJ, Devontae all have to improve. Even Patullo and Sirianni, right? Like, they don't want to be the bottom of the league in passing, even if they're a great running team. They want to improve on it, just like we all want to improve on things in life. I mean, so I think that factors into, and I think it accounts for about a 15-20% increase.
Hollywood, thank you so much. Sills and Zander, keep grinding, brothers. Sidebar, Sills and Zander, were you ever Beach Boy fans? I think my aunt has gone and seen the Beach Boys in Chicago back in the day. Brian Wilson, truly one of the greatest songwriters of all time. John Lennon called him the greatest songwriter of all time. So go 49.
Hogan, thank you, bro. $20, man. Yeah. I appreciate you, Hogan.
How about this for me? Thank you, Hogan. I appreciate that. Here's for me with Hurts, what I think it's going to look like. And you tell me, 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, 650 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns rushing. And right here, look, again, in case you didn't hear it, 3,500 passing, 25 TDs, 650 rushing, and 13 touchdowns. That's almost 40 TDs.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know why it's my video that's cutting out. I hear you perfectly. I don't know what's going on my end today. My bad. But yeah, no, what's your question about it though? The numbers?
Okay, no. This is what I see.
Oh, okay.
For Hurts this year. 3,500 passing, 25 touchdown passes, 67% completion percentage, 650 yards rushing, and 13 touchdowns. It's almost 40 TDs.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty damn good. That's a pretty damn good season. What you just rattled off. I mean, if he does that,
right?
I mean, this
and
team's
Barkley
pretty
gives you
good.
1,700 and 12 TDs.
What do you got for AJ?
I think AJ is going to be disappointed. I think it's going to be around 68 TDs or 68 catches. I think it's going to be around 1,250, but I think it's going to be about 8 touchdowns.
Wait, where are you getting 30? Where are you getting 3,500 passing yards if AJ Brown's only got 1,250?
Well, there's 1,250 of it. Well, I'm getting with 2 guys. They only throw to 2 guys. If you got another 1,000 yards on the other side, that's only 2,200 yards.
Yeah, but you said 3,500 passing yards. So if AJ Brown's only getting 1,250, what's Devontae getting? 1,252?
No, I've got him around 950, and I've got your tight end probably at around 500. And I got
all right, that's 2,600 yards.
Okay, well, I mean, where's Dotson in it? Okay, that's a great point. Let me think. Okay, 1,250.
Like, I'm just trying to think of the break. I told you 3,500.
Right. You're right.
Where does it come from? I think 1,500 AJ, because that's what he did for 2 years straight here. So I think he returns to that. I think you're looking at a 1,200 for Devontae. That's 2,700. Probably 500 for Goddard, and then 300 to 400 for the rest of them.
Yeah, but why in the world do I care about getting the wide? I don't care about getting the wide receiver numbers up.
Well, I don't think it's caring about it. I think it's just circumstantial. I mean, you're going to need to use him eventually. He's on the football field.
Yeah, but you did it a year ago. Oh, wait. No, wait.
Yeah,
those guys were injured. They missed games too, right?
Yeah, AJ missed 4 games last year and still had 1,100.
Okay, so they missed ball games. So if we look at what they would have been if they would have had those games, they would have probably had more receiving yards. AJ would have been what? Like at around 1,400 yards again?
Probably.
And Smitty may have been around $1,000 again, right?
Yeah, I think
like 890 or something, right?
I want them to get Smitty a little bit more involved. But yeah, I think 1,500 AJ, 1,200 Devontae, and then fill out the rest. Goddard 500, Dotson 200, 300 somewhere.
Okay, again, am I right when I say this? I'm looking at Saquon at around 1,700 yards. I mean, if I'm looking at him, and if you're going to up the number again from 2,900 and we're going up to about 3,500 passing or 3,600 passing, we're going to be looking at a position where you're looking at potentially Barkley being around 1,700. If Barkley gets 1,700, Zander, 2,000 yards, and then 1,700, I got to tell you, I don't think there's a running back in NFL history that's ever followed up a 2K year with a 1,700-yard rushing season.
That would be rarefied air for
$4
Saquon.
grand.
Did you hear John today saying he would be Hall of Fame if he hung him up tomorrow?
Not nowhere near it.
I think John's point was largely on like the pedigree thing, where it becomes
how could he? Again, he's rushed for
on last year's
yards.
run, and it ended in a Super Bowl. Plus, you have the pedigree of the player, like number 2 overall draft pick. I think people change the way they view the Giants years quickly.
Yeah, but I mean, but Henry was in a shitty team in Tennessee. I mean, how do you constitute Tennessee being a shitty football team? And that guy was getting 1,800 yards and he was carrying a shitty team on his back, or McCaffrey. So if McCaffrey hangs it up, is he a Hall of Famer? McCaffrey had 2 years where he went over 100 catches.
Yeah,
and he led the league in rushing 1 year. Is he a Hall of Famer?
He could be. I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't know. Those aren't the type of questions for me.
If I'm looking
at Jason Cole.
If I'm looking at Saquon Barkley, okay, I think he's had 3 years of 1,000 yards, 4 years of 1,000 yards in 8 years. You think that's enough?
No.
So you have to take into account. Okay, so the Hall of Fame voters are going to sit there and go like this. Well, wait a minute. Fred Taylor was on a shitty Jags team, and he gained 1,300 yards, 13,000 yards. Why isn't he in? Look, I'll say it to you, and I'll give John this. That is clearly a Hall of Fame talent. There is no doubt. He is a Hall of Fame talent. He just doesn't have Hall of Fame numbers. Now, Zander, if he does this in the next 3 years, if you get to an NFC championship game, let's just say the floor, that's the minimum. They go on and win it, okay. But if he gets at least to that, and he helped the team get the 3 conference titles, they win a Super Bowl, and he gets what? 3,700 yards, and then he comes back with another 15. Inside of 4 years, I mean, you're talking about almost 5,300 yards. Yeah, you're probably going to go like this. He's Offensive Player of the Year. They've had some of the greatest years of the Eagle history. It's going to be he can make it really, really hard for them not to put him in. But I don't see him right now. Like I've heard people say that Brandon Graham is nowhere near being a Hall of Fame player. He's a great player. But when you looked at the preeminent edge rushers in his era, do you look at him and go, he was one of the preeminent edge rushers?
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
I mean, when you see
he was a preeminent Eagle. He was a preeminent Eagle, but he wasn't he wasn't a Hall of Famer, Brandon Graham. No, I don't think he was a Hall of Fame guy. I do think Saquon's got a different pedigree, though.
Well, I mean, what? Because he was the second overall pick?
Well, don't you feel like, he's a superstar?
I do.
I don't you think that factors into, where I know he has had an underwhelming career because of the expectation, but once you had that 2,000-yard season, it changes the way that the New York Giants years are even viewed.
I agree.
And then you factor in the superstar.
I want to put him
with it. I know this is going to sound goofy, but the Madden cover, he was the face of football this year. He was the number 1 selling jersey, the number 1 selling merchandise guy. Jalen Hurts was number 3 overall, by the way. Thanks, Sills. Jalen Hurts number 3. But Saquon really captivated football fans everywhere. He really did. I was hanging out with my girlfriend's family, and she's got little cousins. They're 11, 12 years old. They all got Saquon Barkley phone cases. He really captivated. Every once in a while, an athlete comes along that really captivates the youth and everybody like that. He really did that in Philly this year. I think that's going to help him get in. Yeah, but man, this is a great take by Bud. But I do not see Saquon Barkley and Marshawn Lynch. I just do not. Marshawn Lynch was a warrior every fucking game. I just don't. I don't know. Look, I tell you what, I want to put him in because I like the player a lot. I do. I like him. And I do think you're right. And I do think this. There is no doubt the indictment on the Giants is big time. They did not use that guy right. I'll tell you this, Andrew. I'll say it one more time. I'm very close to the Giant organization,
That guy was let down by the Giants. He is maybe the most underappreciated New York Giant in history because what he did this last year.
Well, I couldn't appreciate him because they didn't do anything else right.
No, I didn't appreciate him enough either.
Yeah,
I just did
well,
not.
how could you? How could anybody have appreciated him? The New York Giants put the worst offensive line in football in front of him. He had Daniel Jones and, the Pizza Boy and all sorts of different players at quarterback. I mean, this is the NFL. Like you don't go out there, and even if you have a team filled with the greatest players on earth, the other guys that you're going up against are pretty damn good too. Almost every single time, even when you're playing the worst team in the league. Like you got to factor that in, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he had an awful team around him. The minute he had a little bit of good squad around him, he exploded. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up.
I think it's a great conversation.
Yeah, I could see him getting in.
I really do. I think it's a great conversation. I'm going to ask you something here. By the way, Zander, we're going to get to all your super chats.
Yeah, by the way, I have no idea what to do, because for those who don't know, they're just watching. Our thing on our side didn't click that we're live. Like me and Sileo are looking at the screen of when we're pre-live. So
I don't even know we're live because I still see scheduled.
Yeah, right. Me too. Scheduled, and then you have the chats coming in. And then over on, so I don't even know how to end this thing. So I was like, I don't know how to end it on your Twitter when we're done because it's not started.
My Twitter's live.
I'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I get it. Keep up the good work, guys. We appreciate it. Z, this is for you. Z, when I'm right about Ringo, make sure to give me my props because he's riding the bench. Ringo, not elite. All right. Hey.
Wait. You're talking about Philly Ringo?
Yeah, I'm talking about Keely Ringo.
Yo, Christopher Michael. Here, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. All right. I'm gonna skewer you like a piece of red meat, all right, with some vegetables, and I'm gonna put you on the grill when Keely Ringo is a good player. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, I gotta do this here. So let me ask you something here. So let me get the Eagle. I want to get the Eagle. Okay. Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith, Moro Ajomo, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis versus Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence. Giants have the best D-line in the East. I didn't say best unit. I didn't say best unit. I said, but they have
still connected. You still got me?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Because I don't know about what's going on over here on this end, but I agree. That Giants team, that D line is good. Did you see there's a clip came out of practice? They had all three of those guys rushing: Burns, Thibodeau, and Abdul Carter. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. But
I can't wait to watch that matchup.
Yeah, but dude, it's the New York Giants.
They got nothing else. They're weak at corner. They're weak in the safety spot. They're weak at linebacker. I mean, really, I just still see that Eagle offense. And I'll tell you what, like I said,
this is how I feel about it, though, Sills. You tell me the New York Giants have the best D-line in football, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, you're probably right. All right.
I didn't say best unit. I did
you see
not
what
say
I mean, though? It's like, all right, I don't disagree, but I don't really care also. It's not like you told me the Detroit Lions or, the Kansas City Chiefs or the Bills or the Commanders.
What a testament to how he's built that team. I mean, fuck, man. You know what? You're so good at one side, and then your O-line stinks outside of the left tackle. You have a limited running back. You know what I would do too? Tell me if you're the Giants. I'm starting Jackson Dart week 1. Why am I starting Russell Wilson? To do what? Win 5 games?
Yeah, but I don't know, dude. I don't know if I have that same approach.
Don't you want to find out who he is now?
Yeah, but hear me out. Have we gotten into a culture that has the macro culture has influenced micro decision makers in the NFL? We're forcing quarterbacks onto the field way faster than we used to. And if you look at some of the greatest examples in the game today, right? And I'm going to even use Jalen Hurts, and you can dismiss it, but Jalen Hurts rode the bench for 12 weeks, year 1. Patrick Mahomes rode the bench for a year. Go back a little further. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, they rode the bench until they were ready to play. Like, I don't know if this whole thing of like, get the quarterback out there immediately is the right thing for every player. I really don't think it is. Now, maybe in certain cases it'll work out. I'm not saying that nobody's going to be good year one, but I mean, obviously look at Jaden Daniels, look at, CJ Stroud. There's good instances out elsewhere, but if he's not ready to go, I'm not rushing him onto the football field.
Man, I am. Dude, I'm not going anywhere with Russell Wilson. Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud is where I was going.
Yeah, but if you're the Giants, Sills, you're not going anywhere anyway.
Well, let me get him get the.
Well, no, see, that's where I disagree because you can. Well, if you have the opinion that, and you could have this, and like I said, it's just a difference of opinion. It doesn't bother me if you did, but like if your opinion was that will help Jackson Dart in the long run, in the 10-year picture, then I understand. Then I understand why you think that. I happen to think that there's also a chance that if he sits, rides the bench for a year, learns from Russell Wilson, because let's be real, Russ or Jackson isn't winning this year in New York. No. Maybe that's better for the 10, 15-year career of that player versus the micro year of 2025. Now, maybe you're right. Maybe getting him out there helps him the most in the long run anyway. That's also a possibility. So, but I'm not sure. I mean, that team's not very good. I don't know if I don't remember some other quarterbacks that were rushed in. Joe Burrow, walked in there and left with a torn ACL. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? Yeah. So you don't want to. I don't know. I don't know if that team's quite ready for him.
Do you agree that Caleb Williams benefited from getting knocked around a year ago in Chicago, and now them solidifying the offensive line? And you found out some of the areas of the football team you need to improve to help the kid play.
Yeah, but
you got a play calling head coach. By the way, I love the fact that I disagree with John McMullen. I think Ben Johnson's going to be a heck of a play caller, and I think he's going to be a heck of a coach. You see,
I like the way
Caleb Williams' ass. He overthrew some passes, and he's in there face to face to him. Hey, did you hear the latest in Cleveland? What happened with Joe Flacco and with Shador?
No,
I guess Shador was talking shit out there to somebody, and Joe Flacco got face to face like this with him. He started saying, "Who the f you talking to, dude? Who do you think you're talking to? You talking to veteran players out there like that? You're nobody yet." And I guess I got
news for Joe Flacco. Shador Sanders going to spit him up and chew him up and spit him out. That's what I think.
I sure hope he plays. Okay, I really do. Giants should start Mahomes.
I think people are going to be wrong on Shador Sanders. I think he's going to be built for the moment. He's not going to be the most talented guy on the field, but I think he's going to be a good quarterback.
Well, give me a comp who you think he's going to look like. Kirk Cousins.
I think that'd be a high upside for him. I think maybe like a Brock Purdy type. Not the biggest arm, but
Cousins is better than Purdy.
I do. I'm kind of a Cousins fan, Sills. I really am. I'm kind of a Cousins guy. I know people are going to jump on me for that one, but I feel like he's never been in the right position where he would actually win. And I know there's plenty of moments where he's been a shrinking violet as well, but that dude's a steady Eddie, man. He's got a big arm. Who I always say this to people who are
you
like,
block for him, he's going to go for 4,500 yards.
Yeah, but I always say this, like, if you don't like Kirk Cousins, that's fine. You know who does like him? Justin freaking Jefferson.
You bet he does.
That guy loves Kirk Cousins, right? I like Kirk Cousins, but I understand he's obviously not the end-all be-all.
I brought a topic up earlier today. I'll ask you this. On Joe Burrow. If you're Joe Burrow, they don't win this year, would you want out of Cincinnati?
Yeah, but what's he got? What negotiating power? They can't even sign a rookie.
Huss, I'm not showing up. I'm not showing up to work.
And what can they say? Your $55 million isn't going in your bank account?
Okay. And then guess what we're both doing here? I want out. Carson Palmer got out of there like that.
Yeah, different game today, but it's not impossible. I mean, it's not impossible. I would love as a football fan to see him in a different city. Not in the NFC, please. Please don't bring Joe Burrow to the NFC.
I thought maybe that, follow Brady to Tampa because Mayfield's going to leave, I think, at the end of this year.
Oh, really? Why do you think that?
Well, because his contract is up. And do you really think the Bucs are going to pay him $55 million?
I think they're going to pay him 50,
Would he stay
45.
for that? Maybe. He says he wants to stay. But if he does what he did a year ago, Zander, and he goes for 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns and has a 100 quarterback rating, you think that guy, you think the Bucs are going to give him $50 million?
I mean, what's he paying? What's he getting paid now? 40?
30.
30?
30.
Is that how good of a deal he signed for them?
3 years, $100 million.
He's probably been the best quarterback outside of the rookies in the NFL right now.
Yep.
$30 million for Baker?
Yep.
He's putting up 4,500 yards a year right now.
Yep. That's
I
why
like Baker. I'm not a Baker hater at all. I'm not a Baker hater at all.
I was.
Yeah,
And I can't believe the guys turned around. Couple last ones here for you guys.
I really liked Baker when he came out of college. I know he was a cocky dude, but I felt like I could see deep down that he was a hard-working dude. He was the type of dude that would do the work needed.
Do you know that Alonzo Highsmith was in Cleveland? He called me and said, "We're going to take Baker." And I go, "Guy's a cheerleader." He goes, "Now you got to be around him. He's a warrior type guy." Oh, by the way, Hassan Reddick showed up.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
I knew he would.
And I'm like, yeah, because what? He didn't want to burn $15 million. Hey, by the way, I didn't know
He just signed the deal. What would he be skipping out on?
I didn't know that Jason Light worked for the Eagles.
What year was Light here?
He was like with Banner. I guess Howie was the cap guy, and Jason was the personnel guy, and those guys worked with one another. I didn't know that.
So one day you're going to wake up and it's going to hit you that the Philadelphia Eagles are everywhere in the NFL. This entire league right now has connections and ties to the foundation and the culture that is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, well, I'll ask you that question I asked you 3 years ago. Do you think the Eagles right now in the Jeffrey Lurie era have over or underachieved?
In the Jeffrey Lurie era? I think with the success of the last 10 years, you could make the argument they've overachieved. Considering where they were before him, considering like their worst moments, and I'm not going to say their worst moments, but the period of years where we never won, right, which was 1994 to 2016. Like Chip Kelly was the down, but we had a Hall of Fame coach for 14 years. Like, I know we didn't win it all, but that was like, we didn't, that was a 14-year period where we were a good team, but we never got over the hump. Chip Kelly was obviously the worst part, the down period completely. Then you had Doug Peterson, great story. Now you've had Nick Sirianni, great story. Obviously you've had Carson Wentz, Donovan McNabb, now Jalen Hurts. You've had Howie Roseman, Joe Banner. I think overachieved. And a lot of that is the scale is tipped because of what they've done in the last really 5 years, but the last 10.
4 NFC titles and 2 Super Bowl wins.
Yep.
Do I think, I mean, what have the Rams done any more than that since 2000?
You know where the one area I think we've underachieved a little? I think we got to win the NFC East more. Like, we don't have a dominant run of really winning the NFC East since
no team does.
The early 2000s. I think we won it for like 2 or 3 years in a row in early 2000s.
You got the most wins since 2000, though, don't you?
Probably. But I think like 2002, 3, and 4 we won. I'd have to double check that. Somebody can help me out in the chat. I'm sure we have an Eagle historian in the chat who can help me. But I'd like to see us dominate. I'd like let's go repeat the NFC East this year. All right, fuck focusing on the Super Bowl just yet. Go win the East. All right, you got the Cowboys, you got the Commanders, you got Sileo's blowing up on Jackson Dart now. Go win the East. Win the East and start from there. I think they're going to be in a good spot.
All right, last one for you. I ranked my top 10 Philadelphia athletes right now in your city.
Oh, right now. Okay.
Right now. Number 1, Saquon Barkley for me.
Agreed.
Number 2, Jalen Hurts.
Agreed.
Number 3, Bryce Harper.
Okay.
Number 4, Lane. Number 5, A.J. Brown. Number 6, Kyle Schwarber. Number 7, Embiid. Number 8, Tyrese Maxey. Number 9, Jordan Mailata. Number 10, Koopa. Freak DeJean. Got him at 10.
I don't hate your list. I don't hate it. I thought Bryce Harper was a little high, but I don't know who else you would put there.
You could put AJ maybe. Right?
Probably
Again,
go AJ, honestly.
Barkley, Jalen, Bryce Harper, Lane. Number 5, AJ Brown, Kyle Schwarber 6, Embiid 7, Tyrese Maxey 8. I'm thinking Tyrese Maxey may be more popular than Embiid now in Philly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go. I don't like
Yeah.
Embiid where you had Embiid. And I think Cooper's probably a little higher too.
Yeah.
I think people are sleeping. Like Cooper DeJean is like, he's going to be a star. If he has a good year this year, he will be a superstar in Philly.
Dude, the Bell and him will be the most famous icons in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
If that guy.
Well, it's still Saquon and Jalen, and then you'd have Cooper on the defensive side.
Yeah, I agree with one of these guys in here, man. I might even take and beat off that list and drop somebody else in there like Jalen Carter. I don't know. I mean,
Carter's obviously the best of them all when it comes to talent, or close to the top. But he's just a more reserved dude. You know, he's not like the type of dude that would have a type of global appeal like a guy like Cooper or Saquon or even Jalen Hurts does.
Now, listen, I think we're going to do something here. We're going to try this. I'm going to do a live read, but I don't know if we should go to a commercial because I don't know. Dude, I mean, what do you think we should do here? Because
I think we can go to a commercial.
All right. So I'll do a live read. We'll come back.
Something.
All right. This is Eric. When he got.
Yeah, I think we can rip a commercial. I mean, I tell you what, I don't know how.
I don't even know we're on live. All I know is the chat's working.
The chat's working, and we're live on YouTube. All right, that's all I know. Wait, right? we didn't do the super chats, bro.
Okay, let's do them.
Kimberly says, "Our defense, jack of all trades, master of none."
That's okay. Win Super Bowls. Yeah, that's all right.
Exactly. That's what they were last year. JD3, Giants could start Mahomes and they wouldn't win 8 games.
Hey, Giants.
Christopher Michael with the shit take on Keely Ringo.
I love that, Christopher. Keep it up, big guys.
Appreciate you, Christopher. Hollywood, thank you, brother. Sills and Zander, keep grinding, brothers. Sidebar, Sills and Zander, were you ever Beach Boys fans? Rest in peace, Brian Wilson. I wish they could all be California girls. Go 49ers. 49ers suck, Hogan.
Hey, Hollywood, Pet Sounds, best album of all time. Go ahead. I got you.
All right, here we go. Kyle Kokorski. Hurts got one job to do. Don't F up.
Absolutely. That's
Kokorski, there's nobody on the planet more Sileo-wise than you, my friend.
Kyle, guess what? The cheerleader guy, Nicky Sirianni, man. That's his gig, too. Don't F it up.
You're Sileo-wise, Kokorski. Hey. East Coast says, Sills, me and my G-Pop thinks Eagles quit in 22 on defense.
23. 23 they quit, not the 22 defense.
23. Jim Adams. Oh, there we go. All right, we got all them.
Yeah.
Thank you all, by the way. Everybody that dropped the super chat today. Twiz, Bonet, Abe, Bud Scroggin, CJ, Mike Fittery, Martin, Sunblack, flexing with $2 Thank you, Flex. And a 2. Twiz the Jigga. All you got. Kyle, as always, Dio. Thank you guys, man. Steven, Blaine, JT, and Jim, and then everybody we just read. Thank you all, man.
Absolutely. You guys saved our ass today, man, because of what StreamYard did. So we appreciate you guys big time. Thank you so much, all of you guys. Big Z, hopefully this stuff, we don't get knocked off tomorrow here, but we'll catch you tomorrow on Birds 365. Got to pay some bills here now.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
You got it, brother. All right. Hey, folks, don't forget my great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America. Every single time that you have a decision to make when it comes to your family on making sure you get insurance companies taking care of you, absolutely always remember, folks, Morgan & Morgan is there to protect you and your family. If you're ever injured, do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you guys. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident.